And welcome back to 2020ish, where CX pros have decades of experience, but only 5 seconds to share it.
Michael, before we kick off today's episode, I've got to spit the dummy about something.
Yeah, tell me what's going on.
MTV Cribs. They came around to my place and they made my crib look way too small.
Oh, jeez. Oh, no.
It's ridiculous. They're just so immature. I think they just need to grow up a little bit.
Let me guess. They focused just on the bars, didn't they?
Made it look like a prison. It's just wild.
Been there.
Sounds like a silly complaint, but, you know.
That's privileged, Luke.
Now, speaking of silly complaints, I reckon our CX pros have probably seen a weird complaint or two.
Yeah, let's go check with them.
The bath didn't taste right. Yeah, that happened.
It was harder and more complex the old way, but we're kind of just used to it. Can we have that back?
So I was at Black Canyon of the Gunnison National Park, and another park goer next to me said, "We were told we could see the painted wall. Well, we can't. Not like the South Rim. Too many chasms. I wish it was flatter." Unbelievable.
I received a 1-star review on a CSAT because the customer's coffee order was wrong. I didn't work at a coffee shop.
Why I wouldn't reimburse a 5-star family resort vacation when I'd only offered a local hotel for one night.
That their iPhone couldn't be charged from the cloud. Imagine that. Maybe someday I will be able to.
Not a complaint, but very weird. I heard a customer call to ask about the hours of the grand opening for a hotel. When the agent wasn't entirely sure what the hours were, the customer then quoted the hours from the flyer that they were holding in their hands that gave all the details about said grand opening. Why did you call?
Introduced voice authentication really early on. Customers complained that they weren't being asked enough questions to verify their identity. So we had to actually put questions back in to make them comfortable with the process. Wouldn't happen today.
This computer is more than what I need. I'll never forget the one time that I had an executive choose to downgrade their laptop because they, quote, just needed email.
A client who was very upset at me because they were seeing me for therapy sessions and doing so remarkably well in their healing journey that we realized they probably didn't need to visit as often, and they were quite annoyed and devastated that that was the case and didn't expect the turnaround to be so efficient, and therefore a bit upset that they couldn't come and hang out every week.
I've heard a lot, but let's go with the complaint that is often attributed to baseball legend Yogi Berra, who once said about a restaurant, "Nobody goes there anymore. It's too crowded."
None really. Just listen to every complaint and respond the best, reply to the best accordingly.
Well, it's actually a student complaint, and it goes like this. "My parents will disown me and sue you if my grade's less than an A."
When I was working with Delta, a customer complained because the airline wouldn't allow him to bring his emotional support alpaca on the plane.
Your employer resolved this so fast, I just wanted to have more of a conversation.
The weirdest customer complaint, this is a true story, came from a friend of mine who ordered the rare tuna at a very, very expensive restaurant. And when they served it to him, he said, "Oh my God, this is very undercooked." And he sent it back. And we talked later. He said to me, "I thought it meant unique kind of tuna."
Well, I once heard a customer complain that the customer service reps were overdressed for their role. It seemed sort of ludicrous.
One customer gave him back everything what he bought at the shop because the guy behind the desk was joking about his favorite team. And yes, it was me.
I worked for a tech company, and we had a phone screen cleaner that a customer felt that she needed to use as a personal cleaner.
When I worked at a pizza place, I had a lady berate me for 15 minutes about how the hot wings were too hot. And my dream ever since has been to open a restaurant called Hot Wings Are Hot, idiot.
You know, some people are just big babies.
I know. Seriously, just call the ambulance.
Okay, well, until next time.
And as always, hooroo.